Everyone's arguing about Assassin's Creed Shadows. But why? Before you waste 30 evenings finding out, here's what actually going on. Because our free time is the one thing worth protecting. Hi, I'm 101, and if someone's going to ask you, what do you think about this game? You won't have a real answer, so you'll need one. And I'll give you just enough of the game to sound like you were actually there. Start simple. Two protagonists, Naoe, a shinobi or ninja, Yasuke, a samurai. 16th century Japan. Say it like that. Clean, confident, it works at first. But the moment they ask anything deeper, you'll feel asleep. Because if they bring up Yasuke, and they will say this, people argue about him. But it's not really about who he is. Pause. It's about how the game uses him. That already sounds smarter. Because on surface, yes, people argue about history, about authenticity, about whether he should even be there. Because there was such a warrior, but not exactly a samurai in the way people imagine. And since this is fiction, the real question becomes different. Not can he exist here, but was he the right hero for this story? And that's where it starts to crack. Because you don't even play him for the first 20 hours. Around 20 hours, in which for a normal person can be 10 real days. You're still with Naoe. You hear about Yasuke. You expect Yasuke. But you stay with Naoe. And by the time the game finally lets you switch, you don't want to. Because now you already have a character. And that delay matters even more in a game that can run 50, even 100 hours. So the problem isn't just that Yasuke is late, it's that the game teaches you to play with someone else first. But later in this video we'll come back to him, because there's one thing the game actually gets right. And you'll feel that shift. Not just in the story, but in how the game actually plays. If they ask what the story is, keep it simple. Naoe wants to become an assassin like her father. Then their homeland is attacked. During that attack, she's told to protect a box. She loses it, but gets it back. And then a masked group comes for it. Her father is killed, but the box is stolen again. She's badly injured, and from there, the whole drive is simple. You hunt down every person involved to get the box back, one by one. That's the story's backbone. And if they ask what's inside the box, that's the main secret. The game saves that for the end. And if someone asks what's inside the box, say you won't spoil it. But tell them this: the game treats everything like a mystery. Every conversation, every clue, every name. But even worse, there are so many names you start drowning in them. Like it's all building towards something. Like every piece matters, but most of those mysteries don't lead anywhere. It's like someone tells you, this morning I used a strange mechanism to go to a special place where my ancestors spent most of their lives. And then you realize they just took a train to work. The game wraps ordinary things in mystery, and once you unwrap them, there is nothing there. You don't feel surprised, you feel stupid for following. Worse, the game assumes you understand even when it fails to deliver. It acts like the twist landed, like the answer is obvious, like you were tracking all of things. But sometimes you simply weren't given enough to do that. So instead of curiosity, you start feeling lost. And if you want breakdowns like this, you know what to do. And it's not just the story that does this. The game does the same thing visually. On the surface, the game looks good, sometimes even beautiful, but the way it uses that beauty, it gets repetitive and it turns art into routine. Every fight starts to feel the same. No real variation, no combinations, nothing like you'd see in something like Spider-Man or even Crimson Desert. And that alone could still work, like in Ghost of Yori. But here, the pattern spreads. 4 mini quests, then a boss, again and again. Small, disconnected stories. Even worse, they're shown on the quest map. So the moment you start, you already know where it's going. And when a story is built like that, it can't surprise you. It just moves you forward, and it doesn't stop there. The same approach starts leaking into everything else. The visuals, the dialogue, the gameplay, no new ideas, no new twists, no moments that change how you play. You go somewhere, you kill someone, you talk, and once you noticed all that, you start seeing the pattern everywhere. But if your friend asks about the Animus, don't overthink that. Just say, it doesn't really matter anymore. Because it doesn't. It's not a system, not a story. It's just there. Like an interface. And the weird part is, it used to matter. Animus used to mean something. It used to be tied to bloodlines, to relatives, to whose memories you could even access. Now, it can basically throw you into anyone's life. And if someone is an older Assassin's Creed fan, that's the line that will hit. Because there also haven't really been proper real-world missions outside the Animus since 2017. So yes, for a series built on that machine, the machine barely matters now. And then they'll ask you what the actual game feels like. And on paper, it sounds right. Leveling, castles, a settlement, stealth is back, you're an assassin again. But in reality, the first thing you notice is the controls. And this is where things get messy. They feel broken, uncomfortable on console. Leave it like that, your fingers will hurt. And that's not new. Assassin's Creed has been this way since Origin. But here, you feel it more. The good news is, you can fix it. Set it up like this and it starts to make sense. It becomes natural, comfortable, even satisfying, because you fixed it. But then you realize something. The game doesn't give you a reason to actually use its systems. Gear matters, but only once. There is a noticeable difficulty spike in the middle of the game. For a while it feels harsher. Then you get the right gear and it smooths out again. The nations? They don't matter. The settlement? On paper, it sounds like a reason to care. Housing, resources, progression. But in practice, it doesn't pull you in. And the main source of resources points you back to castles. So you go there, you assault them, you kill everyone, you clear the whole place, and then you can't even take it. You don't capture the castle, you don't own it, you just leave. then do it again somewhere else. Each one can take 40 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. And yes, if you're in the mood to just fight through a fortress, that can be fun. I had fun with that. But the game itself doesn't give you enough reason to do it, especially when even some resources can be grabbed without fully committing. Activity without affecting the world, effort without consequence. But there is one thing the game genuinely brings back: stealth. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say about Assassin's Creed, but it's true. The series drifted so far into open fighting that even Odyssey could count warriors as assassins, without really asking them to sneak. Here, stealth actually works. Not on paper, not as a fantasy, as a tool. You're more efficient when you use it, and from the mid-game on, the game gives you a reason to respect it. The bells. If you break stealth, if you make mess, if you let the alarm ring, you bring in enemies you actually fear, as stronger versions of the gods, the kind that makes you think twice next time. So yes, stealth is back, really back, and that leads to the part people miss. The second reason Yasuke matters, and this one actually great, because Yasuke isn't there to deepen the mystery. He's there to break the rhythm. After hours of hiding, waiting, planning, crouching through castles, you switch and suddenly you don't sneak, you don't wait, you walk through the front gate. He lets you release the steam. He's not subtle, he's not elegant, he's Hulk. And that contrast is what makes him work. Because usually, when games give you male and female leads, they're basically the same character with different skins. Here, they actually play differently, and both are good in their own way. Naoe is precision, Yasuke is impact. Naoe slips through the side door. Yasuke removes the door. For a moment, the game finally makes sense, because he isn't just another version of her. He's the answer to her fatigue. The problem is, the weak story ruins that payoff too, because for most of the game, you feel obligated to play him, not motivated to. So, if they ask, should I play it? Split it. If they're casual, tell them to skip it. There is not enough here to carry them through. But if they're a fan, tell them to try it, just with low expectations. Run around, see the world, test the systems, don't commit to finishing it, because they won't lose much if they don't. This isn't a game you have to complete to understand what it is. It's a game you slowly drift away from and forget. And if they ask for something in the same space, same broad genre, but with stronger pull, better story and stronger visuals, then yes, Ghost of Yodi becomes the easiest recommendation. Smaller world, but the kind of world that pulls you through its hours, instead of making you negotiate with them. So now, you can talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows confidently. You know what to say, where to pause, what to question. You can lie about playing it and no one will notice. Or you can realize something else. You might want the full story, including what's actually inside the box. The playlist covers all of it. If you felt the same or caught something I didn't, leave it in the comments. See you in the next one.